Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into two parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. Hello, friends, and welcome in. It's the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here in the Impact Power Sports studio. Impact Power Sports, fantastic business in Rockford, Michigan, where you can purchase a Yamaha golf cart or an e-bike, scooter, motorcycle, side-by-side, ATV, UTV, BTV, CTV, and a ZTV, the aforementioned or hard-to-find ZTVs. Anyway, they are awesome. They've got a full-service department for you to check out as well. And you can find them at impactpowersportsmi.com. Just one of the many, many businesses that help make this podcast possible. And I'm very, very appreciative of that. The other ones that make this podcast possible are you. Like, honestly, if you weren't here, I would be screwed. So I appreciate that very much. Let's see. Usual suspects are already checking in. Alan is here. Maureen, Black Belt Nick, who has, ladies and gentlemen, Black Belt Nick is on his way to being a lethal weapon in self-defense. Now, he is up for another black belt. Now, he already has one black belt. But as far as I understand, you can't get just one. You always want to get like more black belts. Now, you don't get like another belt, but what you get is, I guess they're called degrees of belts. So if someone says, hey, man, I'm a black belt. And, you know, to me, that just sounds awesome. But then they go, yeah, I'm a 56th degree black belt. And I'm like, you didn't need to tell me that. Black belt to me sounds intense, you know, like Bruce Lee shit or whatever the fuck. Now, his martial arts discipline is I know he's a kickboxer, and I think you can get like a black belt in kickboxing. He's going to have to correct me or give me more information on this. But all I know is that hand-to-hand combat or hand-to-foot or foot-to-foot, he is a black belt. Now, since there are so many degrees, I really don't believe that, like, if you are your first degree black belt, some might suggest that if you just have that first degree, it's like all you know how to do is go like, hiya, and then you get the first degree black belt. But I don't believe that. I believe that there's some extensive training and testing that goes into even just that first degree. He says, our system is combination of styles, but heavy in kickboxing. Now, he already has multiple degrees. I wonder if in the martial arts world, you know, if they size each other up, like if they have a convention, like the kickboxing convention at the local, convention hall. People, kickboxers from all around the globe show up there. Hey, I'm Nick. How are you? Oh, I'm Paul. Hey, Paul. Paul's like, yeah, I'm a first degree black belt. Does Nick go, shit. You know? I don't believe that. I mean, martial arts, there's always a high degree of respect. And behavior is important in martial arts. Like if you're like a martial arts wizard, really good, great, 30th degree black belt, but you're kind of like a cocky asshole. I think that goes against some of the behavior protocols and principles of the martial arts. Like, if you turn into like an asshole and you're a martial arts expert, I think they like strip you of your title and just beat you down like that scene. Get off the porch, Holmes, in the film Colors. I've referenced that before. Nick says, I would not. I would congratulate him on his achievements. That's exactly right. I fully expected that. I mean, I knew the answer to that question. Nick adds to that, if we do not represent the school and belt properly, we can be stripped of ranking. Okay. You know, I fully expected to hear that. I wonder if there are any particular schools where they like encourage dickheadery. Like earn your black belt and be an asshole at the same time. I wonder if that even exists anywhere in all of the martial arts. Now, I know there's a number of different martial arts. I wonder if, like, they're all unique and difficult in their own respect, and one is no more difficult or less difficult than the other, you know? Like, if you do, say, I don't even know. I know that there's karate, depending on how you say it. And I don't even think that what Nick does has a fancy name like that. I think it's just called, hey, I'm a kickboxer. Is there a fancy name for what you do? I'm going somewhere with this because he's up for yet another degree black belt. And they have like a black belt, like, how would I describe it? Where you actually are tested by the guy who's the bigwig at black belt school. And if you pass the test, then you go up a degree. You go from like 4 to 5 or whatever it may be. And I guess that it's a big deal, and it takes a little time. Like, you got to do certain things for a couple hours, and if you pass it, you get it, okay? It's like getting made in the mafia. Well, I was invited to witness this. Megan says, is this something we can watch? Maybe place bets. And, yeah, you can. So we could all gather on May 16th at 9 a.m. to see this. But you got to understand, it takes like a couple hours. And if you try to leave, they'll kill you. 10 a.m. I thought it was 9 a.m. I think you kind of fat-fingered that message. You just texted me yesterday, you dumb dick. Oh, no, you definitely wrote 10 a.m. I recommend getting there no later than 9:45. Okay, you're right. Now you're telling me 9:30. Got to get there at 9:30. All right. That might be a thing where we load up the fraud bus and then drive over there and, you know. And is it called a dojo? Doors open at 9:45. I guess get there by 9:30. Does the general public just show up, say, hey, what do you want to do? There's a bunch of fuckers getting their black belt degrees. Corner of Plainfield and Coit. This seems to me like this would be like a building that's like a former warehouse. And it's freezing inside of there. And you walk in, there's like a couple of broken down forklifts. Maybe some homeless dudes. And then there's like a mat on the ground. and you just throw each other around. Skip says they make moonshine there at night. All right, so that happens, and I'm invited, and we should pack the house and turn it into an absolute spectacle. Tofa says even the homeless dudes know karate. That's not true. So, you know what you got to be asked, I'm sure, and you probably get sick of it? With something like this, you might get people say, hey, why do you do this? Why? Everybody always wants to know why. And I think the answer should be, because go fuck yourself. That should be the answer to anybody who asks why. Why do you ask? Why? I used to get that from people when I would do triathlon. And there's, why? Why do you do that? Because I'm fucking better than you. That's why, asshole. And it's really great knowing that my discipline level is through the goddamn roof. And I can be extremely uncomfortable for hundreds of miles. No fucking problem. That's why you fuck. That's why I do that. Because it's good to know that you're a big fucking fat piece of shit and I'm better than you. That's all. That's it. That's the motivating factor. For me, at least. Because I'm a goddamn machine. That's why. Jesus. Nick says, yeah, and he actually answers it. I do it because it's made me a better person and father over the past 9 years. I love it. And I found, and I like sparring and getting hit. Yeah, it has a therapeutic effect to it. I know that that's true. Some of my best decisions have been made while doing endurance sports, like when I spit in that guy's car. Yeah. When I decided that I hated free beer, that decision was made when I was pedaling my bike back in the day. Why do people always have to know why? Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Tophus says we should bring signs in like they do in the WWE. No, I think you got to be quiet. And I think that if you even so much as breathe, that they're like, out, get out. Nick says, or shitting in the Mayan ruins. Look, when that happened, that was a digestive emergency, and I was not at the Mayan ruins. I was on a touristy island in the fucking Gulf of Mexico. Chris says, why? Because fuck you, that's why. Nick writes, thank you. I can't wait to share the experience. It'll be my last test for about 4 years. I guess that cheering is encouraged. Now it says no women, too. Are you saying that the martial arts of kickboxing, the kickboxing martial arts, hate women? Is that what's happening? Because you wrote no women, and then you wrote encourage cheering. I didn't realize that you were a misogynist. Oh, no, it says it was a typo error. He loves women. I was going to say, because if Feisty Marty found out that you said that she would beat your ass, and I'd be there for it. Rebecca, why do I push myself to lift heavy weights? Because it makes me feel good, both physically and mentally. It's the same concept. It allows me to push myself to become a better version of myself. Well, yeah, and knowing that you can pull that off. Let's say you do a big deadlift or something like that. That's an accomplishment. And when you get shit done, it promotes mental health well-being. You feel good because you got something done. I mean, the past week and a half, I started swimming again, and I feel so much better. I'm like, oh, fucking hey, man, I swam. That's awesome. Why do you do that? Fuck off. You disgusting fuck. Anyway, Nick, thank you for inviting me. I can't wait to get there and cheer you on. You better not fuck it up. When you say you're tested, do you know what you're being tested on? Is it like boning up for like a big math test? Like you have various things that you have to accomplish and you know going in? Or do you guys just like beat the shit out of each other for 2 hours? Bread Bull Brain Chris is here. He says, getting my fat ass to the gym this week. Damn it. Tophus says it helps regulate your mood and emotions too. Yeah, easy. You're so right, Rebecca says. I learned the hard way how much my body depended on physical exercise when all the gyms closed during COVID. My brain went to a dark place when I no longer had that outlet. You should have done like some burpees or engaged in like marathon sex sessions. Nick says, yes and no. Teacher likes to surprise us, but there is a set layout. Tophus is here. He says, I just started working out again last week. In just 1 week, I feel 100% better. No shit. That's incredible. That is great news. You know what's crazy, though, is it's so easy to fall off the wagon. All right. Thank you for inviting me, Nick. I've got 2 great moments of hijinks to share with you that have happened since last night. And let me start with the one that happened last night. I walk to the scorer's table for the basketball game. I've just gotten into the arena. I'm taking off my coat. I hear a conversation behind me. There's 6 dudes sitting at a table. It's like it's better than a courtside seat. You're just behind the scorer's table. You're at a table. Wait service brings you drinks, brings you food, all sorts of fun amenities, and you can watch the game while you're at a table. It's almost like being at a sports bar watching a live basketball game. By the way, if you ever want tickets for that type of experience, reach out to me and I'll point you in the right direction. These 6 rich bastards are behind me. And I hear one of them say, yes. And I guess there's an introduction going on. And I hear one of the guys introduce somebody, and I hear a name. And I go, that's a famous name. I know who that is. And I hear it. He goes, yeah, hey, so-and-so, this is Greg Steffen. I go, Greg Steffen? No shit. Oh, my God. A fucking legend. And I go, I better make sure it's Greg Steffen. So I look up Greg Steffen. You're like, who the fuck is Greg Steffen? Greg Steffen was the goalie on the Red Wings right at the tail end of the shittiest years of the Detroit Red Wings. Well, I would say prior to this year, those were the shittiest years of the Detroit Red Wings. But we're talking like just before Yzerman was drafted and for a period of time when he was just developing as a player. Greg Stephan was the goalie of the Red Wings. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I know Greg Stephan. He's sitting right behind me. And I'm like, no shit. And I look him up, and I look at the picture of Greg Stephan, and I turn around, and I look at the guy. I go, that is him. That's him. And so I go, well, I'm kind of like a star fucker. I go out of my way to try to say hi to famous people. And that's kind of like a flaw. People oftentimes think that I'm a douchebag because, well, a lot of people think I'm a douchebag in general. And I mean, in fact, that was never more evident when I was walking directly behind James Gandolfini at Madison Square Garden. This was the time when, I swear to God, this happened. In the nosebleed seats of Madison Square Garden, Bruce Springsteen's The Rising tour, for some reason, it was like a who's who of The Sopranos and Donald Trump. Because in the nosebleed seats, it's myself and Jetman. And we're sitting there, and then he goes, that's Dominic Chianese. I go, no shit. He played Uncle Junior on The Sopranos. He goes, that is Vincent Pastore. And I think he's the one who played Big Pussy. And I go, oh my God, it is. And he goes, and look at, that is James Gandolfini. I go, it. And then also actor John Turturro was also there. And then lights go down. The show is starting. Up the steps. Security detail. Trump, Melania, in, sit. I'm like, no shit. And at the end of the night, Trump wanted to leave, and he wanted to leave before the lights came up. So he looked, he raised his hand. Security gets up. Boom. They all walk out together. But I'm walking down the steps to leave our nosebleed section, and James Gandolfini is the man right in front of me. And I go, James Gandolfini, because I'm a star fucker. James Gandolfini. What a douche. I hate that I do this. I want you to know that now that I'm not in that moment in time, I think I'm an asshole. This is horrible. And then I actually said, and I've talked about this before, shake my hand or I'm going to scream that you're here. I am not proud of this. He turned around with this look on his face. He turned around, he looked at me, and he puts his hand out. And I go, and I shake his hand. Oh, fuck. How bad is that? And then off he went. And I was so happy. I got my handshake. Fast forward last night, I go, I'm going to go say hi to Greg Stephan. I go walking up to him. I point at him. And he looks at me. And he's like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And I go, Greg Stephan. And he goes, yep. I go, oh, man, I loved you. And he looks at me like, what? And I go, Red Wings goalie, Greg Stephan. And he goes, fuck no. Fuck. And I go, oh, shit. So that feeling that you have right now when I just revealed that, imagine that times 8 million. I'm standing now in front of them. I walked up to the group, and they're all looking at me like, shut the fuck up. Alan says, why does this only happen to you? I don't know. I just don't know why I do this. There's a little bit of small talk after that, and then I walked away, and it was so bad. Chris in Buffalo says Larry Zane. That's reference to Curb Your Bum 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 Bum. Alan says, on the internet, they usually have pictures of the people that you search. I looked. And I was looking at the picture of Greg Stephan, and I'm not kidding you. The guy kind of looked like him. He did. He absolutely did. I did it. I did what you said. And it was enough of a likeness just by chance. So that makes this not my fault, right? Because only a fucking idiot a star fucker like me would do that. Chris says, so we don't know who the mystery Greg Stephan is. Well, there was another guy there who was like the big talker of the bunch. He goes, no, he's a different rich guy. And I'm like, okay. And then that guy kind of bailed me out. And he goes, we have a mutual friend. And he said, Bill Simonson's a friend of mine. And so then we got to beating up on Bill, and that kind of like softened the blow of this, but the damage was done. Cole is here. He writes, a couple years ago at a Colorado college hockey game, I was sitting right next to Mike Vernon, former Detroit Red Wings Stanley Cup winning goalie. His kid was on the team. I didn't want to bother him, so I didn't even mention that I knew who he was. Nick says, does anything fucking happen at this basketball job? Has anything good ever happened to you because of that fucking basketball job? No, a lot good has happened. It's just awkward. I just do awkward shit. I cannot get out of my own way. I think generally we have a clear understanding. Thank you, Starman. I think we have a clear understanding that I'm just an idiot. I need to learn to take a deep breath and just not do those things. But that's not the only ridiculous thing that has happened to me since the basketball game. Because this morning, this isn't that. It's difficult to even explain it because it's so bad. Like if the two things that happened to me between that moment and what I'm about to tell you happened, I think I might actually take the moment with Greg Stephan. Because it's so ridiculously absurd to shit your pants. And I did that this morning. I shit my goddamn pants. And it was a moment where I was just getting the day started, and I was concentrating on the gamble, and I was like, either this is a stuck fart or it's, oh no, it wasn't even close to a fart. It was the old colon fake out. Let's convince Eric it's a fart. There was no fart whatsoever. It was entirely devoid of fart. You can't even say I was gambling on a fart because there was no fart. So I fucking got the hell out of here. And it's always a bummer for Pooh Bear because, like, she's getting ready. She's curling her hair. I have now finish the cleanup process. But I walk out wearing just a hoodie and nothing below my waist. That's a bad look. Completely nude from the bottom of the hoodie down. And you have to make that walk of shame to the underwear drawer and to start over after the cleanup has happened. And she just laughed. You know, that's pure love right there. Nick says nothing but hot lava. Worst feeling ever. Chris says more reason for a goddamn bidet. Yeah, I know. Nick says, quote, it's always a bummer for Pooh Bear. How often does this happen? Well, when it does happen and she happens to be in the room, then she's going to catch me walk. I mean, we've been married for decades. We've been together since 1989. So, you know, during that amount of time, there have been, in that 40-year window, nearly 40-year window, there's been several times you come walking out of the bathroom and she knows what's up. And, you shit your pants. Yes. Donut dances, maybe you and the NFK are related. No. Well, the difference is he'll just do it like he doesn't wear underwear. So he'll just do it in the pants and he doesn't have the ability to stop it. Whereas I'm like, you know, you immediately stop the flow of the lava after there's been a little pulse of heat. He just doubles down and gets it all out. And then he just drops the pants and throws the pants and the shit in the wash. So you grab the pants and shit rolls out of them, falls through the fucking leg. That's happened. Yeah, I'm going to put a pile of shit in the washer. That's a good idea. That's what Chris writes. NFK just sends it. Do you just wad up the soiled clothes and throw them in the hamper? No. You fucking caveman. You gotta rinse the clothing or throw it away. Nick says it's always a bummer, referring to me. It's always a bummer when my wife is getting ready for work and I forcibly shit myself in her presence. Megan says no, he gives them to Gary. Oh, Gary. God. What number episode is that again? 980? All right, I just got a text from Pooh Bear. Better check this. She says, will you make sure my watch is on my charger on my nightstand? Okay, now that tells me she's worried. And I don't want Pooh Bear. She's afraid she lost it. So if I don't check right now, that's a problem. Gives me an opportunity to get more coffee and some sore throat lozenges because I was singing a Bob Seger song earlier today and my throat hurts. All right, I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm not going to lie. I just bought a new supply of these, and I don't know where the fuck they are. That is not great because these things instantly put out the fire on my throat. So these are going to have to do. These are Altoids, and they're not the same. Instantly in a bad mood. Reasonably. As bad of a mood as I can get in. Rest in peace to a radio guy out of West Michigan who, unfortunately, I had to kick his ass years ago, and in a professional way. But he is beloved. I mean, I was just doing my job. But the legendary Reese Rickards has passed. From the show that was very, very popular in West Michigan called Neil and Reese. This is an article from when he was unceremoniously broomed by iHeart back in the day. And that's too bad because when I came to Grand Rapids in 2004, and Reese is I believe, the stepfather of Starman in the chat. He, in fact, passed this news on to me earlier today, and he kept it on the down low, and then he just announced in the chat it's okay to mention. So, and I had known for some time that Reese had been ill, but I was asked not to say anything. So people, when I moved to Grand Rapids in 04, in June of 04, let me give you an idea of how popular this guy's show was. And we showed up and we filled out a contract. And they said, all right, we've got some ratings bonuses for you if you achieve certain levels of audience. If you finish in 4th place in Grand Rapids, you get X amount of dollars. 3rd place, you get even more. And if you get 2nd place, you get the most dollars. And then I said, oh, well, what about 1st place? And serious as a heart attack, Phil Catlett said, you will not get 1st place. And we said, why? And he said, because that's Neil and Reese on B93. And, well, lo and behold, the show caught fire a few years later, and we were number 1, unfortunately. And now I'm not saying that that's the reason why they got shit canned. I think why they got shit canned was radio. Because you can be a top 10 station, and that's still pretty good. Nick is here. Nick is an old radio dog himself. He's not old, though. He says, I'll never forget when I was a kid and Reese used to call into B93 to go live from his basement during severe weather. Everybody take cover. Well, he has passed. And all I can say is, well, you know what? I can't say anything. All I can say is that he has passed. Rest in peace to Neil. And when he was let go by iHeart nearly 10 years ago, he was 61. So I'm guessing he's about 71 right now, or was about 71 up until his passing. Rest in peace. That's way too young, honest to God. Nick says he was a great broadcaster. Sorry for your loss, Starman. By the way, Nick Bean here. This is the first time, as Starman writes, thanks for your kind words, EZ. Love you tons. Well, you know what's unfortunate is I never had a chance to meet that guy. But no doubt, quality individual. And, I mean, seriously, the show was a goddamn juggernaut. We just happened to get lucky with our brand of whatever the fuck we were doing. Who am I kidding? It was because of me. Nick is here, and the last time Nick was here in Houston, he conference called me up with Ellen Taylor, who was on the list and is no longer on the list. And I really don't think I should have apologized to her. Because, again, I didn't do anything. It's not my fault I have memory. Okay, if somebody does something mean to you, are we obligated by time to not still be mad about it? Like if Nick walks up to me and says, yeah, hey, your wife's a whore, and then 10 years passes and I see Nick again, do I go, yeah, I know you said my wife's a whore, but hey, how you doing? No, you would never do that. Ellen said, oh, my God, it happened so long ago. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, okay. It was 15 years ago, but still, it happened. Nick says she listened to the entire podcast and immediately started backpedaling. She's super thin and in shape now, so the name calling was forgiven. I think, LOL. Piano Finger Banger says, Easy is the king of stirring the pot and then going, what? What'd I do? Cole says, put her back on the list. Tophus says, I can hold a grudge. I love grudge holding. You keep somebody second guessing. They're like, what the fuck? Holy shit. Nick said that Ellen sent me something on Instagram. And I, for the life of me, can't find it, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Because I rarely utilize that platform. But no, I see messages from Terry DeBoer, Pooh Bear, Christian Blatt, Murder Lover Linda, Ben Glaze, but I do not see anything. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Oh my God, just saw this. It's on the way. She said, looking forward to my expensive monthly gifts. All right, I'll play your silly game. And she sent me her address, which I will not share with you. That's what Nick writes. I think she sent her address because you said you'd send her gifts for calling her names. Let's see here. Just checking her out because Nick said she's super thin now. Well, look, let me tell you something right now. She's just a cutie. She's super cute. Even if she was fluffy, that doesn't mean that you're like a Bow Wow. I will say this. Definitely not fat and super cute, 100%. And, but it's not my fault. It is still not my fault that she was so goddamn rude to me and hurt my feelings, frankly. You know, I sound like Free Beer. I was hurt. So, all right, let's do that. I am going to send her, this is what I'll do. I will send her a monthly gift, and then we will get the reaction to the gift. I will call her, and I will put her on this show. This is a reason to have her on this show. And, Nick, I want you to let her know. No, you don't have to because she's on Messenger now. So I can do this myself. And I will call her monthly with a gift update. But this is very important that you do not let Pooh Bear know that I am buying monthly gifts for another woman. Yeah, we don't need to we don't need to bring this up. So nobody reach out to Pooh Bear and tell her this, because she might not be happy with that, and I don't want to piss Pooh Bear off. Alan says she is still the bitch from Hot FM. Yeah, I can't go that far, because typically I keep my edge if I don't talk to the person. But now that I've spoken to her, and we have this dialogue going on, this flirty dialogue. Now, this is clearly the start of an affair, is what this is. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So, since I am now in an affair, I don't want you to tell Pooh Bear about this affair with my new girlfriend, Ellen. You keep that to yourself. Piano Finger Banger says your grudge holding would make even the most hardcore veteran hockey players proud. That's how I roll. Speaking of grudge holding, I am continuing my review of this week's Who Are These Free Beers? And I'm really, really peeling back the layers of the Hot Wings moment where he talks about helping his kids pick out their classes for school. We talked about this yesterday or last week, Ben Glaze and I, and Ben said, yeah, there was a horrible segment, but I had a hard time really drilling down on it. So I said, I remember listening to it too, and I remember it being so bad, and I remember where I was when I was listening to it. I was legit on my way to going to euthanize Benny, the one-eyed wonder dog. And that bit was so bad, and I was so desperately affected by how shitty it was that I couldn't wait to put Benny to sleep so that I could feel better about myself. Like, I rather would have been with watching my dog breathe his last breath than listening to that. And I was like, thank you, Benny, for this gift of your euthanasia, because this is so hilarious compared to what I was just exposing myself to. That I am, you gave us so much. And thank you for this fun-loving, happy-go-lucky moment of you dying to rescue me from the catastrophe, which was the segment about Hot Wings, helping his kids pick classes for high school. Well, anyway, Ben said, "Easy, I'm struggling. I know this is a shitty segment, but it's tough." So I have been listening to it, and I have really been able to drill down deep. And I have it might be literally all of my clips for this week's Who Are These Free Beers on Thursday. All of my clips may be only from that segment, because there's a lot going on there. This was from a show where Free Beer was not there. We don't know where he was for this show, but who knows where he was. But he wasn't there, so the gang covered for him. And then Hot Wings the show starts. Hello, and my kid had to pick classes, so this is my story. And so bad. So I am going to really, really drill down with that. And Ben Glaze is excited about that, I know. And I know you're going to love it. That comes up Thursday on my Patreon. it's a good idea to sign up for free for 7 days at patreon.com/Eric Zane. I think right now I am in some type of Facebook timeout. And they didn't tell me about it. They didn't say, hey, you're in timeout. I just found this out. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.